Hey everyone, how's it going? Eric here, and today I'm going to share 5 specific techniques that work especially well for recording your own video content. And the reason why I decided to create this video was that I've been getting tons of questions from content creators who are just starting out, and even a few business owners who are starting to create videos for their business or start with personal branding. And it seems that each of those questions have to do with a lack of confidence on camera. And there's some individuals who express discomfort with purely being in front of the camera, which might stem from either a lack of practice or self-consciousness, whereas others struggle to create a personal connection with their audience. And that's especially when discussing technical or dry topics. Some have difficulty in organizing thoughts and presenting them coherently, and others even rely on script outlines, and that leads to robotic delivery rather than more of a natural conversation tone. And the most popular one that we typically get is when most worry about how the audience will perceive them. And that's how they look, the value they are giving. This is that imposter syndrome that comes up. And this can all inhibit natural expression. And it's very, very popular. So it's a very real topic for a lot of people. And especially since this video is, video content in general is the most preferred content by consumers. In fact, 88% of people say that they would like to see more video content from the companies and institutions that they interact with. And that was found through an article by 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗡, which I'll post in the article below, the description. And look, all of these challenges that I just listed are completely normal. Everyone experiences them. So if you feel this way, you are definitely not alone, and myself included. But here's the truth about being confident on camera. It's not about being perfect or having the best setup or worrying about what you're wearing or even the background, but it's simply about being helpful to your audience and delivering value through your message. I've spent 20 years creating video content for major brands and helping business owners leverage video to grow their audience. So today I am sharing my personal techniques for practicing your on-camera presence, including how these apply to both recorded and live content, because there's a little bit of difference there. So with that, let's get into it. Now I'll start with what I personally believe is the most powerful tool that you can use when recording video content. It's what I call the chunking technique. It comes from psychology about chunking things into one. But look, when I first started creating video content, I actually tried to memorize these long paragraphs and deliver them perfectly. As an actor, that's what I was trained to do, was just memorize the lines and really get into it. And to be honest, it was exhausting. And honestly, it just never worked. So then I discovered teleprompters, but I also did something that changed my life. It was breaking down the content that I have into small, manageable chunks. And that's what most people do on YouTube. But here's exactly how I do it. I have a complex topic to explain. So instead of trying to deliver it all at once, what I do is I break it down into short, simple sentences. And I actually learned this from watching 𝗷𝗓𝗄𝗧. He is brilliant at this. He takes complex business ideas and these concepts and breaks them down to a 3rd grade reading level. And you know what? His content resonates with millions of people, including experienced business owners. So let me show you a real example from my own work. In this, the quote was, the implementation of effective video marketing strategies necessitates a comprehensive understanding of audience demographics and psychographics to facilitate optimal engagement and conversion metrics. What is that? So instead, you just break it down very simply. So first, know who you're talking to, then understand what they care about. Finally, create content that helps them. Essentially, it's the same thing. It's just broken down into much more easy to understand points that answer the exact same thing. Now, here's something interesting about that. This technique isn't just for recorded video. It's actually incredibly powerful for public speaking as well. But there's a key difference here. In live presentations, you can use strategic pauses to really emphasize your points. For example, when I'm speaking live, I might pause, and that's right before a key point. as I just did now, generally speaking, these dramatic pauses, they just don't work well in recorded content. They feel awkward or they feel staged, right? And plus, in video content, you need to keep your retention of your audience, and your editor is key here. So in front of a live audience, it might work. They're absolutely magnetic for storytelling. These pauses really make a difference. And it's all about reading the room and adapting your delivery. So when it comes to recorded content, you have the advantage of your editor, and actually, generally speaking, you want that content to move a lot more pacefully. Now, this leads perfectly into my second technique. This is what I call the 3-take rule. And this is something that I implement when I want to create better YouTube videos, specifically for clients, and it's definitely designed for recorded content. So here's exactly how I use it. For each chunk of content, again, going back to the chunking, whether it is a short sentence or a short paragraph, I give myself permission to do up to 3 takes, 3 dynamic takes and no more. Now you might be asking, what is the reason why I only do 3? And I found that after you do 3 takes, you start overthinking and your delivery of the content actually gets worse, not better. So let me walk you through my process. The first take, I just get it out there, just put it out. The second take, I refine it ever so slightly. And then the third take, if needed, this is usually the best one and it makes all the difference. Now, in this case, you as the audience just saw my third take. So what I'm gonna do is have my editor go back and you can check out me doing the first and second take of that chunking paragraph. Let me walk you through my process. The first take, I just get it out there. Second take, I refine it. And third take, if needed, this is usually the best one. So let me walk you through my process. The first take, I just get it out there. The second take, I refine it. And the third take, if needed, this is usually the best one. All right, so now you have an idea of that, and it should make sense in terms of your editor has the control of using that third take. Now I should mention that when I say just get it out there in the first take, that is because some creators, some folks like Shane, if you guys know Shane Hummus, and I think Mike D even as well, but myself as well, we do this because we're used to batch recording without pre-reading scripts. So what we do is we just hop in and we deliver the content. And while this is the reason why we do it, by all means, please have the first take. Even if you know the script, just to get that line out there, it absolutely helps in your content creation. And it's really, really great practice. And here's a pro tip that I even learned the hard way. Don't stop recording between takes. So what you want to do is keep the camera rolling and just pause briefly between attempts. You really should, and this is subjective for each person, but what I found best is you should only send 1 file to your editor, just 1. And trust me, this is not only, it makes your editor happy, hi Kate, but it's easier to edit and it actually helps you maintain your energy level throughout the recording process. All right, now let me share something that completely changed the game for me in terms of preparation, and that is having a strategic teleprompter setup. So look, when I first started, I was trying to memorize everything, as I mentioned, or I even awkwardly had the script just offside of camera, so my eye line was about here. And trust me, I've tried every single possible setup that you can imagine. But after years of testing, I found a system that works incredibly well, and especially for those just starting out, it really helps you. So let me walk you through my exact setup. Now I use Elgato Prompter as my main tool now, but if you're just starting out, I highly recommend PromptSmart. That's promptsmart.com. It's absolutely brilliant. It turns your iPhone into a teleprompter that actually follows your voice as you speak. Game changer, as you can see the teleprompter there. Now here's my personal setup that you can adapt. I've got my main teleprompter right behind my camera, rather right in front of my camera. And this keeps my eyes naturally aligned with the lens. I have a laptop positioned to my right, and this gives me a natural place when I need to think or remind myself of where to go. But you can also even add a third prompter on the left for longer content. So here's something that's really helpful to know. When I need to appear more natural, I'll actually spread my content across these different positions. And this gives me the ability to communicate more effectively while staying true to my script. And it's a technique that actually helps me deliver value to my audience in the most clear and engaging way possible. And no matter where you look, your content is there to help you guide through your audience. So it's actually really helpful, and it's a little unique thing that is really helpful when you start out, just to keep your eye lines keeping flowing, but you eventually get used to just the one. Now, let's talk about finding your authentic style on camera. This is a question that I get often asked. What sort of presentation do I want? What sort of tone and style? A lot of people want to be like Ryan Reynolds or PewDiePie or whoever. And I want to share an incredible technique that I learned from Vinh Giang. Seriously, if you're not following him already, you should. His content is unreal, specifically when it comes to public speaking and changing for anyone looking to improve their presentation skills. I'd highly recommend. So in one of his shorts, which I'll get my editor to put up here. Hey, there it is. It's an editing tactic. So what he did in this shorts was he showcased an incredible process called record and review. And it's a brilliant way to test your own personal style of video presenting. So here's exactly how it works. And trust me, this is especially powerful if you're just starting out. First, record yourself, right? And just listen to the audio. Don't watch, just listen. This is just about understanding your voice as your audience hears it. Are you speaking too quickly? Are you speaking too slowly? Are you using a monotone voice, or are you varying your pitch naturally? Pay attention to your pacing, your tone, and especially those filler words. You will be amazed at what you notice when you are not distracted by the visual. So you want to put your phone down, volume up. Then, when you watch it the second time around, you want to watch it in full view, but you want to put your recording on mute. And I know that feels very awkward. We all hate watching ourselves on video at first, but this is where you'll discover so much about your physical presence. Focus on your body language, those facial expressions, and how you're coming across visually. Are you fidgeting? Are you making weird faces? Don't worry, we all do it. But the key here is to observe without judgment. You're gathering information to improve, not to criticize yourself. And finally, and this one is crucial, get your video transcribed. AI tools work great for this, but here's the key that Vinh taught me. You want to keep all the filler words, the ums, the ahs. And this written record shows you exactly where you might be losing clarity or confidence in your message. So it's like having a map of your speaking patterns. Now, here's the most important section of this entire video because it speaks to nearly every pain point in video presenting, and that is adjusting your mindset. I've worked with all kinds of people and professionals from all sorts of backgrounds, CEOs, tech, founders, consultants, coaches, the whole thing. And the funny thing is, the biggest barrier is never a technical skill when it comes to video presenting, always the mindset. So I want to give a special shout out to my coaches, Ben, and by association of his work, 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝗧, because they've been absolutely instrumental in helping me understand this truth. What they've done is they've helped me to, and rather so many others, break through these mental barriers, and their insights have been invaluable. So let me share something personal about this. I've seen this incredibly successful business owners, incredible, brilliant technicians, amazing coaches, and all of them hesitate to get on camera, to even step in front. Some have personal concerns, others have religious considerations, and many just feel that they're not good enough on camera, or they have an imposter syndrome about them being a professional. And even personally, I have been a struggling perfectionist for years, but most of that is because of my background as an actor and the need to be validated on my performances. And I've worked really hard to address those issues, still working on them. But when it comes to presenting on camera or simply communicating with audiences through this lens, here's the truth that transformed how I thought about this. Something that Ben really helped me understand. He says, you don't have to be the expert at everything in your field. You just need to help someone who is earlier in their journey than you are. So think about it this way. If on a scale from 1 to 10, you are at a 7 in your field, that's fantastic. That's nearing expert level. But there is still a massive audience at levels 1 through 5 who would love to learn from you and to actually get up to where you are as a 7. And that is a huge mindset shift that I think is pretty impactful when it comes to letting your guard down and actually getting in front of the camera. It's helped me massively, and I hope it does for you as well. Now, You might be thinking, with all those 5 that I've just mentioned, you might be thinking, okay, Eric, this all sounds great, but what about when I don't have the luxury of an editor? Yes, what about presenting on camera in live webinars, podcasts, or Zoom calls? That's the second question that I usually get when it comes to video presenting. What if I don't have an editor? And this is where things get really interesting, because while many of these techniques still apply, you need to adapt them slightly for live situations. When you are live, whether it's a webinar, podcast, an interview, or even just a Zoom call, you're working without a safety net. There's no editing, there's no retakes, but here's what makes this exciting. Live interaction actually gives you some advantages as a human. In live situations, you can feed off the energy of your audience or interviewer. And those pauses that we talked about earlier, they become incredibly powerful tools. And you can use those to emphasize key points. You can vary the tone. You can let important ideas sink in. Or you can create moments of connection with your audience. And you can mess up, because we're all human and we're all okay with messing up. When you mess up, it's very normal. So the best way to approach this is to think about it like having a conversation with your friend. And sometimes when you're on video camera or practicing for live speech, you can put a picture of your friend in the audience, so to speak. And what you do is you naturally vary your pace, you vary your tone, the level based on their reactions. So the same principle applies in live presentations. You're not just delivering content or educating. What you do is you're engaging in a dialogue, even if you are the primary solo speaker. Now, wrapping up this video, let's get into what this means for you, because a lot of you do very different things. So let's talk about how you can apply these techniques in your specific industry. Now, if you are running a SaaS or tech company, there's a lot of you out there. For example, you might want to start with product demo videos. And there's a reason why. It's because you're already extremely familiar with your product. It is your comfort zone. You could break down these complex features into those simple benefits, showing real world applications. You might also want to try doing quick feature announcement videos. These are great for typically short and focused on one specific things that you know well. Also, newsletters are really great here. For those of you in service-based businesses, think about starting with client success stories or case studies in this case. From my experience, these are extremely powerful because they're essentially just you sharing something that actually happened. So there's no scripts needed. It's just authentic storytelling, again, like a case study. And you might also want to consider creating process explanation videos. So these explainer videos, such as how it works, or even post-sale onboarding videos. What you can do here is think about what are the top 3 questions that clients ask you about how you work. So there's your first video. Just simply answer those questions there. And for my coaches, consultants, and agency owners, you are sitting on a gold mine of possibilities. So think about all the questions that your clients ask you during discovery calls or sales calls. As Marcus Sheridan teaches in They Ask You Answer, I'll have my editor put the book up here. Check it out. That's a great book. These questions that you have are your content gold mine. And so what if you actually took the top 3 questions that you get asked and turned each one into a short video? Let's keep that in mind. All right, now in conclusion, we're almost there. If you are struggling to create video content, then here's what I want you to do right now. Just start with one video. Pick one type of content, whatever feels easiest and most natural to you. Could be from the ones that I just mentioned, or it could be new ideas from competitors' content, whatever. Once you have that video, then choose just one of these techniques that we've covered to focus on. Maybe it's the chunking technique, or perhaps you want to try Vin's 3-part review process. Whatever you like best, select it. And the amazing thing is, once you create that first video, you'll feel this incredible sense of relief. You'll realize that it wasn't as scary as you thought. And here's the best part, you don't even have to publish it. Each video gets easier than the last. So as you practice these techniques, what you do is you find yourself becoming more natural, more confident, and even more effective at delivering your message. It's all coming down to practice, and this takes a lot of time. And just remember, the goal here isn't perfection, it's about connection. It's just start creating and just keep improving. And most importantly, focus on providing value to your audience. They're just waiting to hear from you. So, guys, I really hope that you found this video helpful. And if you'd like to dive deeper into any of these techniques or just want some guidance on your own personal video content journey, then I am happy to help. So what I'm gonna do, you can book in a time directly in my calendar in the description or after this video. And whether you want help with your video content or just need to be pointed in the right direction, I'll be happy to help and follow along in your journey. There's another subscriber for your new channel. So good luck, thanks for watching, and we'll speak soon.